What's Godzilla doing? It's the victory dance. I don't care how silly this looks, I've always wanted to make Godzilla do this. Look, it's Godzilla, king of the dancers. Now let's remove his skin. Who's hiding under there? Almost got it off. What the heck? Mechagodzilla? Spoiler, Terminator Godzilla is in Godzilla Kong. Here's 7-inch Titan Evolution Godzilla retailing for $14.99 at Target. We can see it has that peel skin reveal feature that makes this figure unique from anything else in the Godzilla Kong line. Let's get this bad boy unboxed. Standing 7 inches tall, here's Titan Evolution Godzilla out of the package. Look at his face sculpt. But where the hell are his teeth? Did Shimo bust out all of his teeth? Godzilla's skin feels soft and rubbery to the touch. Even his spikes and tail are soft. This guy is thick. He has claws on his hands and feet, but oddly they're not painted a different color. Godzilla's tail is pretty nicely done. What's up with those ugly holes in his tail? His chest flap often annoyingly comes undone with simple arm movements. Now let's peel off his skin and transform him into Godzilla Evolved. First, let's pull back his chest flap, peel back his skin, stretching it over Godzilla's head, and off both arms. You want to be careful as possible. Now pull the skin down and off Godzilla's legs. So that's where you've been hiding, my dear Godzilla Evolved. Let's attach his tail. Meet roughly 6¼ inch tall Godzilla Evolved, the king of the monsters. Surprisingly, Godzilla Evolved is missing the spikes on his forearms. Notice how vastly different Titan Evolution Godzilla's tail is from 6-inch Godzilla Evolved's tail. But I totally understand why it's omitted with this design. Godzilla Evolved has slight neck articulation, his jaw opens and closes, his arms fully rotate, and surprisingly, they actually swivel outward. His legs move backward and forward, his feet rotate a full 360 degrees, his tail's on a ball joint, and his tail can fully rotate. But you can't really twist his tail with Godzilla's rubber skin on. Surprisingly, Titan Evolution Godzilla doesn't include his atomic breath. Now for the moment you've all been waiting for. Who's got what it takes to be the undisputed Roar King of the monsters? Who will claim the elusive crown? The challenge begins now. Here's 7-inch Battle Roar Godzilla Evolved. The Godzilla Kong 7-inch Battle Roar Godzilla brings the king of monsters to your collection with epic new details that capture his movie look. He has a nice sculpt with some new paint details versus 6-inch Godzilla Evolved. Let's unleash this bad boy. Let's attach Godzilla's tail. Take a look at that menacing face. Notice his head's in a more upright position compared to 6-inch Godzilla Evolved. Now he's leaner and meaner than ever before. Godzilla's new design has really grown on me. Now they've substituted a plastic piece of head spikes to better match with his plastic dorsal plates. From the plastic dorsal plates to the painted tail spikes, it's not as seamless as you'd expect. However, he does have some nice spikes on his tail, as well as a thagomizer at the end. I love the darker shade of paint on his tail compared to 6-inch Godzilla Evolved's sloppily painted tail. I'm glad the designers painted his arm spikes here compared to 6-inch Godzilla Evolved's, where they obviously cut some corners. Godzilla has that nice reptilian skin texture that feels bumpy to the touch. You can actually make out the gills on his neck. What the hell are those two fog light looking things on Godzilla's underbelly right below his neck? He has speaker holes on his underbelly. There's a battery compartment at the lower part of his underbelly. He's got that big button in the way for his gimmick. When you press down the button, notice Godzilla actually opens his mouth to roar and is accompanied by roar sound effects. Pretty freaking cool, huh? Although Godzilla looks like he has a head cut, he doesn't move his head. He also doesn't move at the neck. His mouth can open and close, but it retracts shut thanks to his gimmick. His left arm fully rotates. His right arm's movement is a bit restricted due to that big battle roar button. His legs can move forward and backward, but his feet can be fully rotated. He has a ball-jointed tail, which can be fully rotated. Surprisingly, Battle Roar Godzilla Evolved doesn't come with any accessories. What? Meet the almighty 7-inch Battle Roar Kong. The Godzilla Kong 7-inch Battle Roar Kong brings the King of Skull Island to your collection with epic new details that capture his movie look. Let's release this beast. This new design blows the prior one out of the frickin' water. Kong looks menacing as ever with those eyes with ribbed brows. What happened to Kong's canines and who busted his teeth? Interestingly, Kong's head and shoulder areas are made of a soft rubber-like material. The rest of his body is made of hard plastic. Where that softer rubber material meets the plastic body on his back, there's quite a stark difference that's frankly disappointing. I love how they've sculpted his hair and beard. His nicely sculpted pecs and six-pack look great. I'm not loving those speaker holes on his abs. Interestingly, Battle Roar Kong isn't equipped with his beast glove on his right arm. He has two tightly clenched fists ready to smash Scar King real bad. You can even see nail details on his fingers. Nice touch. What the hell happened to Kong's backside? Yikes, he's also got some screw holes. Kong's got a big, ugly button sticking out of his back thanks to his gimmick. Push the button on his back to hear Kong's battle sounds. That's some pretty frightening stuff. If I heard something like that, I would frickin' run like hell. Battle Roar Kong has pretty frickin' limited articulation. His left arm rotates a full 360 degrees, while his right arm is a bit limited due to its pose. However, you can fully rotate his wrists. Leg movement's a bit strange. His legs swivel around a full 360 degrees. Battle Roar Kong can stand on his own. Unfortunately, Battle Roar Kong doesn't include any accessories whatsoever. Here's the main villain of Godzilla Kong, 7-inch Battle Roar Scar King. This titan just can't wait to be unleashed on the world. Let's cut him loose. The Godzilla Kong 7-inch Battle Roar Scar King brings a dangerous new foe to your collection with epic new details that capture his movie look. Like Battle Roar Kong, Scar King's head and shoulder areas are also made of that soft rubber material. He actually looks quite good, but he's lacking the facial detail and paint blending of 6-inch Scar King with Whip Slash. Scar King even has a small scar on his left brow. This version of Scar King actually has his mouth open. You can see his canines, but his upper teeth look all jacked up thanks to the gimmick. Maybe Kong busts this sucker's teeth. He's a baldy, but he's got a lankier build compared to Kong's muscular build. Does he really stand a chance against Kong? His chest paint looks pretty bland compared to 6-inch Scar King's beautifully blended chest paint. Oh, looky there, he's even got nipples. I'm not a big fan of the visible speaker holes on his chest. This bad boy's got a pair of clenched fists to crush Kong's skull. Sweet nail details. Scar King looks badass, with his whip slash draped over his right shoulder like a sash. It's actually a dead titan's lower mandible with spinal column. Brutal, but it can't be removed. What a bummer. In stark contrast, 6-inch Scar King has a whip slash that's removable. OMG, can you believe it? His butt's flatter than Kong's sorry butt. He's got thick red fur on his back and a couple of nasty screw holes. That ugly button popping out of his back with fur details. Push the button on his back to activate his battle roar sound effects. Man, that's freaking sending chills down my spine. I really love how when you press the battle roar button, it actually makes Scar King's mouth move. Very cool. Scar King doesn't move his head. Really limited arm movement. He does have full 360-degree wrist rotation. Unlike 6-inch Scar King with Whip Slash, this Scar King doesn't have any torso movement, which is a major disappointment. His legs swivel around like Kong's, but they don't swing backward and forward, limiting his leg movement. Scar King can stand on his own. Hey, Godzilla Kong collectors, we've got our hands on the entire collection of Godzilla Kong giant figures. We'll be crowned the king of the monsters. The challenge starts now. Retailing for $24.99, here's 11-inch giant Godzilla Evolved. Let's get this bad boy unboxed. The Godzilla Kong 11-inch giant Godzilla brings the king of monsters to your collection with epic new details that capture his movie look. Set comes in a unique Godzilla Kong package. Let's attach Godzilla's tail. My oh my, take a look at Godzilla Evolved in all of his glory. I really love his size. Let the battle begin. Finish him, fatality. Are you getting Barbanzilla vibes with those vibrant pink dorsal plates? While initially I wasn't a fan of Evolved Godzilla's new look, I have to admit it's beginning to grow on me. His dark body paint in tandem with his pink dorsal plates and spikes creates a striking look that's a sight to behold. Take a look at his very nicely detailed facial sculpt. He looks quite intimidating with those eyes, razor-sharp teeth, and beautiful tongue. We can see the paint on his teeth is a little sloppy. Very nice details in his neck area. In his evolved form, Godzilla's dorsal plates look pinkish. Here they're soft, translucent, and flexible with some nice detailing on each fin. I'm really digging this giant figure's streamlined look compared to 6-inch Godzilla Evolved. Very nice. I'm not a big fan of the transition where the painted tail spikes meet up with Godzilla's plastic dorsal plates. He sports nice reptilian skin that feels bumpy with texture. Unlike the 6-inch Godzilla Evolved figure, this giant figure actually has his spike that extends from his arm painted a solid magenta color. His underbelly's painted a lighter shade. There's some really nice blending near his underbelly. It's a bit of a bummer that Godzilla has visible screws on the other side of the figure. I wish they had covers for those unsightly holes. Godzilla has razor-sharp claws ready to unleash significant damage on his foes. Take a look at the massive curved claws on his feet. Man, I'd hate to have those penetrate through my flesh. In his new evolved form, Godzilla's definitely lost some weight. Perhaps he's been hitting the gym. We can see he has noticeably slimmer abs, slimmer and longer arms for better hand-to-hand combat, and slimmed-down legs compared to giant Godzilla. Godzilla's tail is well sculpted and painted, and he's even got a thagomizer with a distinctive arrangement of 6 spikes at the end of his tail for defensive purposes. For comparison, here's 6-inch Godzilla Evolved and 11-inch Godzilla Evolved. Let the battle begin! Let them fight! Finish him! Fatality! Let's talk articulation. Godzilla's jaw closes and opens. Unfortunately, he doesn't have any head or neck articulation. He has limited arm articulation, moves backward to here and forward to this point. His arms don't swivel outward. He has no elbow movement. Even though it looks like there's a wrist cut, he doesn't have any wrist movement. As for his giant legs, they move backward and forward to a point. His feet swivel around a full 360 degrees. His tail has a ball joint, which gives you a nice range of motion. His tail can also be fully rotated. It's a huge missed opportunity that they didn't bother including Godzilla's atomic breath accessory. Come on, playmates. Let the battle begin. Finish him. Fatality. Meet Giant Scar King with Whip Slash, retailing for $24.99. Let's get him unboxed. He's an orangutan-based titan. Scar King will be the first simian monster faced by Kong in a live-action film. Set comes in a unique Godzilla Kong package. Standing 11 inches tall, Giant Scar King looks incredible. He's easily my favorite figure in the giant line. Take a look at his facial sculpt with menacing scowl. You can even make out some teeth with sharp canines, protruding eyebrows. I'm actually shocked his mouth can't open. I wanted to bite off Kong's head. Who said you have to play by the rules? He's wearing war paint on not only his face, but also on his arms. Meet Baldy the monkey. He has ears coming out of the sides of his head. On the back of his head, you can see beautiful fur sculpting. This monkey's covered in red, sculpted fur like an orangutan. He has a lanky build with long arms and legs. His chest and torso have some nice sculpting and paint. I'm a bit disappointed that he has some visible screw holes on his backside. He has a pretty nice booty. He's got one open fist and one fully clenched fist, ready to give Kong a major uppercut. Scar King's feet are well sculpted and painted. For comparison, here's 6-inch Scar King and 11-inch Giant Scar King. Let the battle begin. Let them fight. Finish him. Fatality. Let's talk articulation. Scar King can fully rotate his head, move his head up and down, and pivot his head. He can fully rotate his arms and swing them outward. He has an elbow joint, elbow rotation, and his wrists can fully rotate, but they're a bit tight and squeaky. What I really love is that this figure has torso movement. He can move his torso backward and forward, side to side, and you can even spin his torso all the way around. Unfortunately, he still doesn't have any waist articulation. His legs move backward and forward this far. You can also rotate his legs. He has a knee joint, but sadly there's no movement in the feet. As for accessories, he comes bundled with his whip slash weapon. If this was a pageant, he'd probably win the first prize. For being one ugly looking mother, it's actually a dead titan's mandible and its spine. You can make out the teeth on the mandible. His whip slash can be removed and wielded in his right hand. It can be a bit challenging to get Scar King to stand up on his own with his whip slash in hand. Let the battle begin. Let them fight. Finish him. Fatality. Retailing for $24.99, here's the almighty Giant Kong with Beast Glove, the king of Skull Island. Let's unleash this bad boy. The world needs Kong to join forces with Godzilla, with epic new details that capture his movie look. Standing 11 inches tall, Kong looks better than ever. Man, check out that ferocious facial sculpt. They totally nailed Kong's facial sculpt with impressive details. Look at his business eyes with protruding brows, beautifully sculpted nose, and my oh my, those teeth look amazing. They actually painted both sides of his teeth. His head has impressive fur sculpting, with his ears peeking out. He even has beard details. But sadly, they're missing the gray tips. Kong has more of a muscular build compared to Scar King's slim build. He has nice pecs and a visible six-pack. Kong still has his battle scars on his chest. I just wish they were sculpted rather than merely painted on. Kong's fully equipped with his mechanical beast glove from Godzilla Kong. Check out that insane level of detail. The sculpting and paint are really well done. You can make out intricate details in the glove, plus you can see the gear. Unfortunately, Kong's beast glove is not removable. Kong's new beast glove packs a meteoric impact punch. Man, where the hell do I get one of those things? Check out that thick coat of fur on his back. I wish he had covers for those visible screw holes on his back. The ones on his legs aren't as noticeable. He has a pretty nice booty. Kong's feet are nicely sculpted and painted. For comparison, here's 6-inch Kong and 11-inch Giant Kong. Let the battle begin. Let them fight. Finish him. Fatality. Let's talk articulation. Kong's head swivels left and right, with some up and down head movement. Unfortunately, his jaw is completely fixed in place. It cannot be closed shut. His arms fully rotate and swivel outward. It's a bit tight. He has elbow movement and elbow rotation in his left arm only. Interestingly, his right elbow doesn't have any rotation. Although a bit tight, his left wrist can rotate a full 360 degrees. However, although his right wrist has a cut, it's completely fixed in place. Kong doesn't have any waist movement. His legs move backward, forward. You can also rotate his legs. Unlike previous Playmates giant-sized Kongs, this Giant Kong has knee movement, but there's no movement in his feet. Giant Kong can stand on his own. Kong doesn't really come with any accessories, which is a bummer. There's his legendary battle axe. Let the battle begin! Let them fight! Finish him! Fatality! But what about Shimo? Come on, Playmates, give us a giant Shimo figure. Pretty please.